Greetings, everyone, and I hope you're all having a great time today. How are you all? So, welcome to Miki Travel and Croisi Europe's River Cruise webinar. And before I get everybody excited with the rundown, let me just make sure everyone is active out there. Please type hello, hello in the chat box so that I can see where you're all from and how excited you are. So, what are we going to see today? Let me share you my screen with the rundown on it. So we're going to see all about river cruises. And by the way, Croisi Europe doesn't just do river cruises in Europe, they do cruises in other worldwide destinations as well, but we shall see that later on. We're going to see an amazing collection of cruises today. We're going to start looking at the fleet, the Croisi Europe fleet, and we're going to know, what kind of accommodation they have, what kind of food they have, and we have a beautiful video on that. We're then going to pop along to Bordeaux to see the Bordeaux cruise and the cruises in the France region. We're then going to pop over and see the Rhine cruise, where we're going to have some spectacular views and another beautiful presentation and video. We've got the Danube cruise, which of course goes through those classic cities over there in Central Europe. And finally, we're going to pop along and see new cruises down in the Venice area towards in northern Italy. We can also see the other exciting Croisi Europe destinations and services, and we really going to have a good time looking at that. If you have any questions and answers, please do put the questions in the Q&A box. We shall bring that to the presenters at the end. And we have a fantastic prize quiz today. We have 3 prizes, one of which is actually experiencing one of the cruises. So I'll give you more information about that when we do the prize. And by the way, make sure you all stay until the end. So these are our colleagues who are going to be available for your future inquiries. I'll give you this information afterwards. And let me just pop along back and introduce our presenters today. We've got Nedar Yazdani, who is the key presenter from Croisi Europe. We have Hazel Pons, and we also have Karen as well. So we've got a great collection of presenters who are going to start presenting right now. So welcome, Nedar.
Thank you very much, Tim. And good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to our Croisi Europe River Cruise webinar. Thank you for joining us with my team, Hazel and Karen. As Tim mentioned, today we will be telling you more about Croisi Europe, and we will be focusing on 4 destinations in particular. So let me share the presentation with you. Okay, so Croisi Europe is a family business. It was established in 1976 by a gentleman named Gerard Schmitter. Now, his concept at the time, he was operating some lunch and dinner riverboats on the Rhine River. And what he decided to do was to expand the business and create a hotel ship. The idea being to make river cruising affordable for the middle class, because back in those days, cruising was something for the very wealthy. So Gerard Schmitter came up with the idea to develop his own river cruise business and make the concept affordable and also, create a product that was reasonably priced. So as the second generation, his children entered the business. The ship started to expand. They grew the company, developed more products throughout Europe. And today I can say that we are now a European leader. We are the largest river cruise company in Europe. We specialize in canal barges, coastal and river products. We have a large choice of destination from 3 days to 16 days. And I can tell you, in all honesty, we offer the best value for money. That is one of our key selling points that we do. We are very price sensitive and we offer very good value for money. Everything is all inclusive on board. So you have your drinks, your meals. With regards to excursions, we offer two options. So you can either book cruises with excursions included, or you can book without. There is another choice, which is the clients can actually book when they're on board as well, and they can pick and choose which excursions they wish to do. We own and operate over 50 ships, and we have a complete control on the operations. We employ over 1,200 people, so everybody's on fixed contracts. The thing that differs, where we differ with other companies, is that we actually control everything. So we don't use any subcontractual middleman company. We employ everybody, and we manage everything from our headquarters, which are based in Strasbourg. Our ships are from 16 passengers to 197 passengers. The smaller vessels that we have, which are 22 passengers, these are actually our canal barges that are operating on different canals throughout France. And then once we start to move up into the larger ships, it's mainly our coastal and river cruise products. We do have two ocean ships which operate on the coasts, but the concept is the same as the river cruise. So the capacity is very, very similar to the river cruise product. And the concept is all about the destination. It's not about it's not like other ocean cruises where it's about entertainment on board. It's really the same like the river cruise. Your floating hotel is taking you to various destinations. And that's the whole concept of the Croisi Europe product range. We are always innovating. We are always growing our offerings, always looking to develop our products, always looking for new rivers, new coastal products. And this is something that you'll find with Croisi Europe. We have exclusive products. We're always the first ones to a river. If there is a river to cruise on, we'll be the first to find it. That's a big strength of ours. And even to this day, we still have products which are exclusively Croisi Europe products. So if you find that you're doing river cruising and you're doing something with another company, you'll always find a product that you can do with us because there are literally rivers where we're the only ones. All our ships are constructed to the highest standards. So we do work with a company called Bureau Veritas, and this ensures that our ships are done to the highest possible health and safety standards. So you can be rest assured that when your clients embark on a Croisi Europe vessel, they're going to be in safe hands. On board our ships, the clients will enjoy superb food created by our award-winning chef, Alan Bon. The menu, like our overall atmosphere, is very much French, but let's say we also create international food depending on the destination. So when we speak about Croisi Europe, we say we're an international company, but with a heavy French touch. With each meal, you have 3 choices of wine, rosé, 3 choices of rosé, 3 choices of white wine, and 3 choices of red wine. Away from meal times, there is also a drinks menu on board, so clients can relax at the lounge bar in the evening, and they have free-flowing drinks. We do have, in terms of our ships, 2 types. So we speak about our premium ships and our standard ships. When we're talking about premium ships, you can see from the pictures we're referring to more contemporary restaurants, comfortable cabins, relaxing lounge bars. The ships are pretty much, let's say, a newer model to the older standard versions. A little bit more comfortable, a little bit more space in the cabins. Moving to our standard ships, they're a little bit older in terms of the design, and therefore for the price sensitive client, you'll find great value for money on our standard ships. But in terms of offerings, wine, food, Wi-Fi, lounge bar, the restaurant, everything is provided within both the standard and the premium category. The simple difference is that the standard ships are a little bit of an older model. The cabins might be smaller and the decoration perhaps not as contemporary as the premium ships. So I'm just going to play you a little video to give you a little bit more of a taste of river cruising. You could also see from the screen that it's actually our 50th anniversary. I did mention earlier that we were founded in 1976, so that with it being 226, it does make it our 50th anniversary this year. So coming to France, France is really our back garden. That is where our headquarters are based in Strasbourg. We operate 4 different products in France. And the beauty is with all these cruises, they're all completely different from one another. They really highlight the variation of France, the different landscapes, foods, and even climate. The Loire Valley, I did touch on earlier. I said that we offer exclusive products. The Loire Valley is a perfect example of that. The river is extremely shallow and nobody was ever able to cruise on the Loire. So what we did is we created a ship with like Mississippi style paddle wheels on the side. And that enabled the boat to navigate very shallow waters. So it was an innovative design. And this gave us access to a beautiful region, the Loire Valley, famous for incredible chateaus, castles, beautiful picturesque landscape. And as with all of France, you get to see lots of beautiful vineyards as well. So this is a fantastic product. We start in Nantes, which is the west of France. We visit a very famous shipyard in Nantes, which constructs huge aircraft carriers and all kinds of military ships. And it was actually the shipyard that made our beautiful ship for the Loire as well. So that's an exclusive product, only one ship operating, highly recommended. The Garonne, Dordogne and Gironde Valley, I will speak about that later because, as we said, that will be one of the featured destinations that will go into more information. We'll give you more information, go into greater detail. The Rhone and the Saône Valley is the south of France. So we get to experience two provinces, which is Provence and Burgundy. Both these South France regions are well renowned for their diverse, beautiful landscapes. And when we actually start on the Saône and cross into Lyon, you can see the two rivers meet, and then we join onto the Rhone river itself. Lyon is France's second city. It has a beautiful old town. It's well known for its gastronomy as well. So we do actually visit Lyon, and then we will go down the Rhone River, and there is many different locks. The water comes from the Alps, so it's clear. And the landscapes, the small villages, the towns are exceptional. So this is really, it gives clients a really good insight into Provence and Burgundy, which are two of the famous regions of the south of France. So it's definitely a cruise I would highly recommend. The Seine Valley, by contrast, is the north of France. So we're starting in Paris and we're going through Normandy. And we go to a coastal town known as Honfleur. It's a beautiful, charming fishing village on the coast. But the ship itself starts in Paris and we dock literally in the heart of Paris, and we have a perfect view of the Eiffel Tower. So it's a fantastic docking destination. And when we cruise, we go on through the Normandy region, and we see the different landscapes of northern France, which contrast to southern France. In southern France, you'll see more vineyards, more olive groves, that kind of landscape. Whilst in the north of France, in Normandy, it's more pastoral. So it's a beautiful contrast, but you still get those classical, charming French villages, historical sites. And as I mentioned earlier, we go to Honfleur, which is a fantastic fishing town on the coast. And you have the option to visit the landing beaches, which were made famous during the Second World War. So the Seine Valley is also an exceptional product and contrasts to the Loire, the Rhone. And now I will move on and tell you a little bit more about the fourth product that we have in France, which is the Dordogne Valley. So this is our first featured cruise, and I will go into a little bit more detail. Bordeaux is a western city, but this cruise is really renowned for its wine. So we will be doing a lot of visits to vineyards, and clients will get to experience how we grow and develop the wines of the region. This is really one of the most famous regions in the world for wine. So it's a river journey through one of the most beautiful, prestigious wine regions of the world. Your clients will experience the wonderful regenerated city of Bordeaux, the charming medieval village of Saint-Emilion, the famous vineyards of Medoc, the impressive Blaye Citadel, and the elegant seaside town of Royan. The cruise is very balanced, so it's a mixture between relaxation and interesting excursions. From the itinerary, we'll typically cruise in the morning. Clients will enjoy the breakfast and the views, the landscape, and then we will go out in the afternoon. It just makes it a little bit more suitable for wine tasting to do it in the afternoon rather than in the morning. We do also offer a helicopter option above Medoc, which is exclusive to Croisi Europe only. The region is second only to Paris for the number of historical sites. That's 290,000 acres of vineyards and 60 protected designations of origin, an astonishing 8,000 winemakers. So it's really, really the wine region of the world. And Gironde is generally known for its famous landscapes, its dunes, its marshes close to the sea, and of course, the famous vineyards. So the Serrano de Bergerac is a ship that we operate, and it holds 174 passengers and includes 2 lounge bars and a restaurant as well. Now I'm just going to run through some visuals just to give you an idea of the beauty of the cruise. And the beautiful building we see is the Place de la Bourse, and it really is it sits on the riverside of Bordeaux and is the highlight of the city. The architecture that you see gives you a flavor of what to expect in Bordeaux. It is blessed with beautiful old historic stone buildings. And we actually just dock right next to this building. So we'll have a constant view of this amazing skyline. And Bordeaux is it is one of the most beautiful cities in France. Highly recommend it. This historical village, Saint-Emilion, is actually one of the highlights of the cruise. So the village is blessed with honey-colored stone buildings. It sits on the top of a hill, and you have spectacular views from the village of the amazing vineyards and landscapes of the region. So it's you can get absolutely spectacular views. It really is a beautiful, famous village of the region, the most famous village of the region. And the wine from Saint-Emilion is also well renowned, well known throughout the world. La Rochelle is also part of our itinerary, and it presents itself with a, let's say, a quiet maritime grandeur. Its charm lies in its balance. It's a beautiful but revealing city. And there you can see the arrival of our ship in Royan, the Serrano de Bergerac. So that gives you an insight into our Southwest Bordeaux cruise. Just to summarize it, it's like all our products, all inclusive with meals and drinks on board. We have flexible options for the program as we do with all our destinations. So there's a 5-day option and also a longer 7-day option. It's fantastic value for money. It really is for wine enthusiasts, but it can also be for people that just want to explore Europe, explore different region of France. And that southwest region of France is blessed with beautiful landscapes. So if you just want to enjoy typical stone-built villages and cities of France and breathtaking landscapes, then it can be a cruise to enjoy just for that as well. It's not just for exploring wine, but wine is one of the main features of the cruise, the most famous wine region in the world. Now we will move on to our second destination, featured destination, which is one of the great rivers of Europe, the Rhine. And I'm going to hand you over to Hazel, who has experienced the Rhine and is going to tell you a little bit more about this magnificent river.
Thank you, Neda. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm here to give you a quick introduction to our Rhine cruises. The Rhine is one of Europe's most famous rivers, as Neda said. It flows through 6 countries and is one of the most important and historic rivers in Europe. It also holds a very special place in our hearts, as it was the very first river we ever cruised on. So today we have 13 ships sailing along the Rhine and its tributaries, with itineraries ranging from 5 to 8 days. So depending on our itinerary, guests can explore not only the Rhine, but also the Moselle, Neckar, Main, and Saar rivers. Some of our longer cruises even connects with the Danube. So it allows the guests to discover several regions of Europe all in one journey. So we also offer cruises through the beautiful canals and lakes of Holland, including the IJsselmeer and Markermeer. These cruises combine the charm of the Netherlands with the beautiful landscapes of the Rhine. For families, we have selected departures during the European summer. It features our popular family club program, making the Rhine a wonderful option for parents traveling with children. So as we travel along the Rhine, our guests experience a wonderful mix of history, culture, and breathtaking scenery. Every stop has its own character, from vibrant cities to tiny villages dotted with castles and vineyards. And also our itineraries connects major ports in Belgium and the Netherlands. So in Belgium, guests can visit Antwerp. It's famous for its diamonds and Rubens masterpieces. And in Holland, they can explore Amsterdam and the world famous tulip fields, Keukenhof Garden. It's a seasonal attraction open for roughly 8 weeks each spring, usually from March to May. It's very popular, not only with our Asian guests, but also with European visitors and travelers from around the world. So to give you a glimpse of what our Rhine cruises have to offer, please enjoy the short video. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. So one of the highlights of our Rhine cruises is the romantic Rhine Valley. It's between Mainz and Koblenz. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Guests often stay up on deck just to soak in the views, the vineyards, the gorgeous landscapes, and medieval castles. Um, we'll also, as we glide through this beautiful stretch, we'll also pass the famous Lorelei Rock, one of Rhine's most iconic landmarks. And in Mainz, we have the Gothenburg Museum. It's a perfect stop for those interested in history. It adds an interesting cultural and historical experience to the journey. And then we sail on to Cologne, one of Germany's oldest cities and home to its magnificent UNESCO cathedral. Guests can also explore colorful old town, lively squares, traditional breweries. It gives them a wonderful mix of history and local culture. Amsterdam, yes, I love Amsterdam. So our Rhine adventure usually begin and end in vibrant Amsterdam. It's famous for its picturesque canals, historic gabled houses, and relaxed atmosphere. It's a really a wonderful city to explore on foot, by boat, or simply by strolling along the canals. The journey along the Rhine brings something new each day. One moment we're drifting past slopes lined with vineyards, castles, and then the next we're stepping into a city full of bustling markets and history. All of it is threaded together by the river itself. So, whether your clients are interested in history, castles, vineyards, charming towns, or simply beautiful scenery, we have a Rhine itinerary to suit them. So, I hope this has given you an idea of what our Rhine cruises have to offer. So, I'll hand you over to Neira, who will introduce our next destination.
Thank you, Hazel, for that beautiful description of the Rhine. Now, coming to the next great river of Europe is the Danube. So the Rhine and the Danube are really the two huge products for river cruising, which are well renowned throughout the world. We do cover the Danube as well. We can, as Hazel mentioned earlier, we can combine the Rhine with the Danube. But if we just look at the Danube separately, we offer a variation of different cruises as we do at most of our destinations. One of the key selling points I mentioned at the start, we're very flexible. We offer different durations for each destination. So if your client wants 1 week, they want 5 days, or they want something longer, we have the solution. We're not just on a fixed 7 day, 7 day, 7 day. We have this choice. An example of this on the Rhine would be the 5 day program that we offer, or the 8 day program, which is Vienna, Bratislava, Budapest. 3 capitals, 3 different countries, all in on one cruise. Unpack once, pack again at the end of the cruise. You've seen 3 countries in the most amazing of comfort. The longer option that we offer, 13 days, really is fantastic for clients that want to discover multiple countries. So this particular cruise, the longer option, moving. So the longer cruise option gives us the opportunity to cruise all the way through to the Iron Gates and take in 6 different countries. So we can do Austria with Vienna, Bratislava with Slovakia, Budapest, Hungary. Then we go to the eastern side of Hungary, and we cross all the way into Bulgaria, Romania, Belgrade, Serbia, and we can finish in Oltenia in Romania. So 6 different countries. So this would be our longer 13-day program. So we'll just take a look at a short video of the Danube just to give you a bit more flavor of the destination. So let's go through some visuals, which will give you an idea of some of the highlights that we get to see during a Danube cruise. So the palace on screen is one of Vienna's most iconic landmarks. Its warm yellow tones has vast courtyards and sweeping gardens that stretch right into the city. It's definitely a highlight of any Danube journey. For me personally, I have to say the actual highlight of a Danube cruise is when we enter the beautiful city of Budapest. We tend to enter at night, and it really is an absolutely magnificent sight. The Hungarian capital is a major feature of all our Danube programs, but when you actually experience it from the ship, entering at night with the parliament and landmarks in full glow, the Buda Castle and Matthias Church illuminated on the hill, the whole skyline feels welcoming and really is a stunning appearance. So highly recommend that particular part of the cruise. And for me, it's definitely my favorite of the Danube program. Bratislava is an underrated city. It is the capital of Slovakia. It's very interesting. It's a compact old town with many charming squares and old buildings, historic buildings. But it does have modern architecture as well, as you can see. Well, maybe the picture doesn't give the best visions, but the riverside is quite modern. So you have a contrast between modern architecture and the older downtown. The docking place, as you can see, it's just right in front of Bratislava's famous castle. So as usual, we are able to dock always in the heart of these cities, give clients the best experience, the best location. The Iron Gates can be seen from our longer. It can be seen when we do our longer Danube program. And it is the most dramatic stretch of river, I would say. Passing through this gorge is definitely another highlight of the cruise, showing really the natural beauty of the cruise. So again, get to see beautiful landscapes, historical cities, small towns. It really is a fantastic way to travel through Europe, and it's comfortable. You unpack once, pack at the end, and you get to see multiple countries in the most comfortable way. Absolutely fantastic. Moving on now to our next featured cruise. We offer different options in Southern Europe. We will be talking about our Venice cruise. Karen, who recently come back from that, will be able to tell you a lot more. But we do also have products on the Douro River in Portugal. Douro is famous for its spectacular landscapes. It really is a scenic cruise. We have 3 standard ships and 3 premium ships operating, so we're very strong on the Douro River. As well as that, we have another exclusive product in Andalusia, which is starting in Seville. And this particular cruise does not have well, from the river, you don't see the same beauty that you would see from the Douro, but it is absolutely fantastic for its different excursions. Andalusia is an amazing region, and you can see many different things from the river, from the Guadalquivir River, including we have excursions to Granada, the old town of Cordoba, the magnificent city of Seville. So it is quite a diverse cruise, and definitely something worth exploring for your clients. I will now pass you on to Karen. She recently, as I said, did the Venice cruise, and she'll be able to tell you, she'll be the best person to tell you a little bit more about Venice. So over to you, Karen.
Thank you, Nadar, and hello to all the Miki crew on board and listening today about everything Croisi Europe can help you with in Europe itself. Well, I've just had the pleasure of trialing our Venice Lagoon cruise. And there's a great little photograph there of Venice itself. Venice is a rather unique place. It's the old Venice is actually built over 118 islands. There's 400 bridges. And Croisi Europe, you'll all have heard of the famous St. Mark's Square and the Basilica that's in very central and on the Grand Canal in Venice. We have the ship called the Michelangelo, based in Venice all year round, and it's one of our standard ships. And I think Nadar will tell you more about the 2 qualities of vessels we have in Europe to cater for all client needs and affordabilities. But with the standard ship, I would like to sell this as the affordability of having 5 nights, we've got different itineraries, 5 nights, 6 nights, 7 nights, moored virtually in downtown Venice. Our pickup point is at one area, which is very easy to get to. And where we're moored is around a 12-minute walk from St. Mark's Square right along the riverbanks of downtown Venice, you would say. I found it very, very convenient for getting around, particularly this year and every second year, the very famous Venice Biennial is on. And that's to do with the arts. And Venice itself is very, very famous for its art culture that it has, with many of the churches, the paintings, etc. It's very, very good. As a bonus to being moored in downtown Venice, we have a side trip out to the island of Burano. If no one's seen that, that's very colourful houses. It's very, very pretty. We offer a side excursion there with a guide if you wish, or you're also free to do your own thing and just walk around that small island. We also, as you can see on the map there, we also go to the outer point of the Venice Lagoon to Chioggia, which is a great city in itself. And from there, you can either look around Chioggia or you can take one of our optional coach tours to Padua, which is a university city and very famous for the educational and the historical architecture of that as well. When you're with Croisi Europe, on all of the vessels we have in Europe, you've got all of your meals and all of your drinks. 3 meals a day and the drinks. The bar opens at 10. We have wonderful French wines coming around with every meal, choices of 3 white, 3 rosé and 3 reds. We have cocktails of the day, and there is a bar menu, as well as the coffees, the teas, and whatever your clients may need. I think that's just about covered the Venice Lagoon. And I can only say it was very, very interesting. And there's plenty of time to do your own thing as well, to see other islands, use the vaporettos, which are the ferries to get around. There's no cars on the island of Venice at all because it's built over islands, and it's just got all the walkways and the bridges. And it's very, very interesting place to stay and visit. Do we have a video of that now? The photos that are there are very, very real, and Venice, I can say, is certainly worth a journey, and it's very, very easy to do with Croisi Europe. So back to you, Nada.
Thank you very much, Karen, for your insights into Venice. That was excellent. Just to summarize what Karen was saying, we do have the Venice Lagoon program, but we also regularly operate a Venice to Mantua program on the Canal Bianco. So that is a nice cruise that we go through different regions of Italy. We used to actually operate the cruise on the Po River, but due to the water level, we had to switch to the Canal Bianco. But this is similar to how I was describing the Andalusia product that we do. It's really a beautiful cruise for the excursions. So the variety of towns and cities and food in Italy is just absolutely magnificent. So the Venice Mantua option, please keep that open. It's a fantastic opportunity. Overall, we touched on 4 main products of ours today: the Dordogne Valley, the Rhine, the Danube, and Venice. But in terms of product, this just tells part of our story. We have many more products both in Europe and the world. There is also our coastal ships. We have 2 coastal ships which are operating different products in Europe. So we have, as an example, we have a summer program in Corsica and Sardinia, as well as Malta. And then we have a winter program in the Canary Islands. We have a spring program in the Greek islands. We have another summer program in Croatia, the beautiful Croatian coast, from Croatia to Montenegro. We have 2 program options there. And we also have an Italian coast option as well. So lots of variety throughout the Mediterranean and covering some of the most beautiful regions of Southern Europe. In terms of our global products, this is something with our 3rd generation. So I mentioned earlier that we're a family-run business, started by Gerard Schmitter. Then the 2nd generation came in, developed the business throughout Europe. Now the 3rd generation are involved, and the company is developing more on a global scale. So we have our Indian product and the Nile as well. Those are the only 2 products in which we don't own and operate the ship. That might happen in the future, but for now we are chartering those ships. But the River Mekong, we're very, very strong between Cambodia and Vietnam. We're the only company that operates ships that go all the way to Ho Chi Minh. We have 5 ships there on the River Mekong. We also have our incredible Southern Africa safari. I got to experience that earlier this month, and I've got to say it was absolutely magnificent, truly unique, a once in a lifetime type experience. And again, Croisi Europe have pulled out all the stops. It's totally unique, the program. You enter the Chobe region, which is one of the national parks in Botswana. And then we take a small boat. We don't hang around there where all the other tourist lodges are. We go to a private island in Namibia, and it's just something unbelievable, unreal, like a dream. From there, we experience the gaming, the water safaris of the region. We then take a small plane, private plane, and we land in a kind of dirt track in North Zimbabwe. It's just an incredible experience. You feel like you've come in the middle of nowhere. And when we arrived, we could see fresh lion paws. So there'd been a lion there literally, well, within a few hours. And from our private plane landing on this dirt track, we then took a jeep, went through the national parks in Zimbabwe, and we embarked on our ship in Lake Kariba. And it was absolutely fantastic. The landscapes and the wildlife that we saw in Lake Kariba were different to the wildlife that we saw in Chobe. So really, we're literally the only ones doing this program. It's a totally unique experience. And we finished off in Victoria Falls. So I would highly recommend our once-in-a-lifetime Southern African product. We're also developing now a ship for the Amazon. So we'll have 3 different programs on the Amazon. Again, that just highlights how the company is developing products now on a global basis. It is important to innovate and look for new destinations. It's important to develop new products because river cruise clients, once they become a river cruise clients, once your clients do a river cruise, our statistics tell us that 50% will come back and do another one, and they'll continue to do more and more, and they'll be a river cruise client for life, basically. And these clients demand that we keep innovating, keep developing new products. So we're always on the lookout for new destinations. As with all our products, it doesn't matter where we operate them, where in the world, They come with the best value for money and all the all-inclusive benefits that I spoke about earlier. But all our cruises offer excellent value, exclusive experiences, and great convenience for your clients. So I would like to take this opportunity also on behalf of Karen and Hazel of thanking you for your time today. I hope you've learned a lot more about Croisi Europe, and I will now hand you over to Tim for the question and answer and prize quiz. So over to you, Tim.
Thanks a lot, Nada. Well, yeah, it's definitely an awesome experience out there to go on the river cruise. Yeah, you go into places that bus coaches cannot reach. You know, you're going into landscapes to get really, special views and special viewpoints that only you can get when you're on board a river boat. Okay, so let me look at the Q&A box to see if we have any Q&A from the markets out here. So we have one question from India. Do you have the option of Indian meals on board any of your boats, Nada?
We would definitely be able to look into that for private charters.
Okay.
But in terms of for individual clients, it's a little bit more challenging. But
Yeah.
there are always restaurants. So for example, when we go to Amsterdam, if you're on the Rhine or Budapest on the Danube or Cologne, we can always find restaurants to break up the food if the clients want something a little bit more familiar. So it is possible to help out where we can. But in terms of actually providing Indian food on the ships themselves, that would have to be done on a charter
Private
basis.
charter basis. Okay. The next question was about halal food. Do you have sort of halal options in some of the meals?
We do. We can definitely cater for clients requesting halal options. That's not a problem.
Cool.
And also for all kinds of diet requests, so gluten-free. As long as we know beforehand, we can cater to it. That's not a problem.
Great. And the next question actually comes up is, do you have to pay a deposit when you make a booking with Croisi Europe?
Yeah, typically we have a deposit structure. So you pay a deposit and then pay the balance. Now, the terms and conditions, they depend on whether it's a group or an FIT booking or a charter booking. We can definitely send those details through, but we do usually require a deposit. But
Yeah.
we do have also the option to, if a client is interested in a group departure or they're interested in a charter or they want to make a booking, we do have an option to hold that booking for a short period of time. So that could be between a week and a month or a few days. But it really does depend on whether it's a charter or just an FIT booking that's next month. It completely depends. But there is a possibility to have that holding period to make sure that the client gets the booking over the line, and then we can ask for our deposit.
Okay, so in fact, when the client contacts Miki about this booking, what they want, then normally the terms and conditions are advised at that point, including whether they can hold and the deadline and all the rest of it. So yeah, Miki team will advise on that case by case. All right, the next question is, can we share some marketing flyers to agents so that they can put it in their websites, they can put it in their materials to the clients? Maybe you can send something to us.
Yeah, we
can share it
absolutely
on.
have a photo gallery, and we are able to give you an account and access to that so we can share marketing materials. That's not a problem. We have all those beautiful photos that we showed you in the presentation, and also videos, and we even have the option sometimes for brochures. So
Okay.
we can definitely provide all those
So I
marketing
guess
materials.
what I'll do is to everybody in the audience, I will send you the recording of this webinar, which will be a YouTube video. I'll give you the materials that was presented, and also I'll give you the link so that you can get the assets from Croisi Europe for your marketing activities. Okay. Next up question is, how many restaurants are on each ship?
So we typically have one restaurant per ship. And it's not a restaurant where you go in and order food. It's a restaurant where, because everything is included within the price, so we provide all the meals. So it is a buffet for breakfast, and for lunch and dinner, it's usually a set menu.
And then in terms of Wi-Fi on board ships, you have Wi-Fi?
We do have Wi-Fi on all the ships.
Brilliant. In terms of excursions, so when they park at the boat parks at a pier, how are the excursions managed?
So we have two different options. We can include the excursions, or the client can do their own thing. So you have the option and flexibility to book a Croisi Europe cruise with the excursions included or excluded. It's entirely up to the client. If the client is on board and then regrets not pre-booking the excursions, they can actually book them on board as long as it's a day or two before. So they'll get the program and then they can just decide which excursions they wish to do.
Okie dokes, that's cool. And then I have a question. Do you have any vegetarian meal options? Yes, I guess you already mentioned that before. We have various different things. You just need to advise in advance so that the team can do. But Indian food probably has to be private charter and or going to restaurant in the main cities that we're passing. Okay. In terms of commission per cabin, I think the pricing from Miki will be net to the agent, and it will be B2B prices. So already these will be lower than the B2C rates showing on the international window. So you will get net rates from Miki that will be more competitive than B2C prices. That's fair enough to say, isn't it, Nader?
Tim, also just on the thing with diets, the question about diets, what we're trying to do as we're developing our business on the Asian markets, it's a learning curve for us as well. So as we develop more business, we are trying to provide more home comforts for our Asian markets. So what I mean by that could be certain breakfast options, especially for the groups. Once we have a group, then we know well what kind of additional options we need to provide for those clients. So it could be just, as I said, some breakfast comforts and some familiarity for our Asian guests. So it's a learning curve, but we are developing that more and more.
And again, I mean, Chinese cuisine, rather like Indian, to be honest, the restaurants that they pass in the main cities will be definite Chinese cuisine. On board, okay, if we have a private charter, we may be able to get some Chinese food for private charter. Otherwise, okay, like Nader said, you're trying to take information from our bookings and see what you can do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And another question about the rooms on board. Do they all have river views from all of the rooms?
They do, yes. Usually there is an extra premium for cabins on the first deck. So you will have an extra supplement because they tend to have a large French window, which it's not an actual, but some ships, like for example on the Mekong, we do have balconies where you can sit outside. But generally speaking, our ships in Europe, they don't have these balconies where you can sit outside, but what they have is a French balcony. So you have a large panoramic view from the first deck, whilst on the ground level, you have a window in the cabin. So it's the view is perhaps not as enticing as the first deck, and that's why there's an additional supplement for the first deck cabin.
Cool. And I think one question was, when are the best seasons to visit? To be honest, the cruise operates all year round in all these destinations, right?
Yeah, it really does depend. I mean, the peak season for Europe is kind of May, June, September. So it can get a little bit tricky with pricing, but you'll find availability all year round. It really does depend on the client. But what I would recommend is more and more now we're doing a lot of November, October, even December departures. And I would say, like, for example, Southern Europe is excellent in November. You have less crowds. It's a little bit cooler. You've got that autumn feeling, autumn colors. So all our products in Europe can be fantastic at that time of year, especially for those looking for a good deal and for less crowds.
We'll also have a big outbound market from Southeast Asia in March and April. We have Eid al-Fitr, we have Songkran in Thailand, we have Easter. So yeah, I think you'll also see a lot of possible interest in March and April. March and April is quite a good time.
Definitely, yes. Yes.
Excellent.
It's almost, let's say, the early part of the high season in Europe. So it's a good option.
Great stuff. Cool. Well, thanks, Nada. I'm going to now launch our polling to get some feedback from the audience. Okay. So I'm asking everybody, have you ever put your clients on river cruises in the world before? Yes or no? So would like to hear from the clients about this. Would you like to put your clients on river cruises in Europe in 2026 and 7? And which river cruises do you like most of all? So I actually then listed out those points. So we're now just going to see. It's 50-50 split really on yes and no. It's slightly no in terms of people who've ever used the river cruise before, but quite a number, 50 or more, are interested to put river cruises in Europe in 26-27. So that's a really good feedback there. In terms of looking at the actual cruises, most of the audience like the French rivers. Okay, you can see there 44 at least are going for Bordeaux, Seine, Loire, Garonne, or Dordogne, Gironde, those rivers. I can see quite a lot of people going for the Danube as well, and Rhine and Italy, so much so. But the French rivers are really the ones that are taking the interest. So that's really good information. So I will share that with you later on, Nada.
Yeah, that's really good, really useful feedback, and we really feel that there's a fantastic opportunity to develop river cruising. It's, I've actually experienced with my own staff when they've gone to, and they're all Asian here, based in the call center here. When they've gone to do a cruise in Europe, they've thoroughly enjoyed it, and they just love the convenience. So I had one gentleman who was he was doing Italy by land, and he found he was, taking his suitcases around, carrying them a lot, and going from train to train. And he said it was such a relief when he arrived on the ship and he could just dump his suitcase, relax, and enjoy the cruise. So I think everything's taken care of, meals, drinks. You sit back, relax, and your floating hotel is taking you from one place to another. It's just a fantastic way to travel, and I think it's perfect and ideal for the Asian market.
Indeed. So just sharing now with the whole audience, the contact person. So if you have any inquiries about River Cruise, please do write to brian.choi@group-mickey.com and CC Cecilia Chu at group-mickey.com. That can be for all the markets, and they will then forward you to the local sales teams who will answer your inquiry. So for any further questions about what meals can I have, what can I do in terms of paying for this, and all the rest of the questions you have, you can write to these people who will answer that for you. And just to let everybody in the audience know, I will also send this presentation along with the full presentation that Nada shared as well. So coming back to us now, we can now do the marvelous quiz. I know that everybody has been waiting for this. So we have two smaller prizes and one epic prize. Okay, I'll do the epic prize last of all. The answer, of course, as the audience knows, you have to put your name, your company name, and your city in the answer before the answer to the question. And I normally go and scroll up and find whoever was the first person to answer the whole thing in full. Okay, so the first two prizes are basically meeting in Europe for a lunch provided by Croisi Europe and a view of the cruise boat, or possible inspection, but probably just the view of the cruise boat from the port. And there's two prizes of this, and of course that means you can go to any of the ports they have, and that will give you the access to do that within 2026. Okay, I will forward you when you've won the prize to Nadar, and he will look after you. Okay, so the first question to the audience, if you're all ready with your fingers on the buttons. So how many boats do they have in total in Croisi Europe? That's river boats, canal boats, ocean boats. So let me now look at the chat box. There are in fact 50 boats in total. So let me just now see who is the first person to give us 50 boats in total. So I can read here, Sim from GC Travel Malaysia has put 50 boats. So yeah, Sim, you're lucky. You can, when you go to Europe, please visit one of the ports where Croisi Europe has a station, and you can have the lunch arranged by Nadar and a meeting with the people there to look at the cruise. So the next question will be a bit harder. And by the way, once you've won a prize, we don't give you, you can't have more than one prize. Sorry about that. So the next question is, okay, can you name the 3 Central and North Europe rivers operated by Croisi Europe? Go. There are 3 rivers in Central and Northern Europe. Central and Northern Europe, not France. So I'm going to give you the answer, because the answer is actually the Rhine, the Elbe, and the Danube. So the first person that's managed to pick those 3, I will let you have the prize. So let's scroll down. There you go. Sonia from NK Tours Surabaya has put the Rhine, the Danube, and the Elbe. Very good work, Sonia. I shall write to you and let you know how to contact Nadar to meet for lunch at one of the ports in Europe. So the last prize is actually an experience on the Bordeaux cruise. Nadar, can you tell us more about what the main prize is?
Yep, so they'll get to experience one of the cruises. I think it's a 5-day cruise on our Bordeaux Cyrano de Bergerac ship. So all the stops that I mentioned, Saint-Emilion, Bordeaux, Médoc, they'll get to experience the fantastic vineyards of the region and also the wonderful food. It's very, very well known, that region, for gastronomy. So it's definitely a good way to experience France, for sure.
So guys, the question here might be a little bit harder, so do get your thoughts out and quickly. I will ask you if you can name 4 of the French rivers that the Croisi Europe operates. Go. Well, somebody here really took a lot of time to put this one in, and it's Mrs. Lawrence Calderon Polaris Travel and Tours. Yeah, basically I was looking for either the Rhone, the Seine, Loire, Garonne, Dordogne or Gironde because those are the rivers that were mentioned in the presentation. And the first person to put four of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, is Mars Lawrence Calderon from Polaris Travel and Leisure Company. So Mars, we will write to you and Nadar to tell you about this. And then we look forward to you going to France, taking lots of pictures and also getting all your clients to join us, okay? So everybody, thank you very much for joining our webinar today. It's been real fun to see all of these beautiful cruises and we can't wait to see clients popping down them as well. Thanks to Nadar and Karen and Hazel for your presentations. And yes, Bella, please play our video. Thank you very much.